Somalia be the world's most dangerous place?
Urgent warning from Somaliland, where 4 countries in that region are now on the brink of famine.
Somalia, the easternmost nation in the Horn of Africa, is a devastated country.
For many people, Africa conjures up and fosters a relentless image of a dangerous, unstable, and chaotic continent. This is even more true for the Horn of Africa. My name is Mohammed Ibrahim Shire. I was born in Somalia, but I spent most of my life in the West. I grew up on these images, but a visit to the region in 2015 changed my whole perception and my life. As a result, I made it my personal mission to show to the world the other side of the Horn of Africa, revealing its diverse scenic landscapes, the warm hospitality of the people that live there, and its various beautiful cultures. Join me as I embark on a journey through this magical and misunderstood region. My brother Osama and I worked together for quite some time planning this journey, piecing together locations and discovering the history of the region. As a result, we came up with the itinerary that includes the most interesting and remote places that reveal the true image of the Horn of Africa.
When talking about the perception that the Horn of Africa has, what the media likes to put out as far as the drought and so on is concerned, there is a whole other side of the Horn of Africa where things like this do not exist. So people are living happy lives in these beautiful places. So we're trying to push that forward rather than having that entire image on the Horn of Africa. What we're really trying to do is change the perception of the image that's already ingrained in people's mind when we're talking about the Horn of Africa.
They're associated with insecurity. They're associated with piracy. They're associated with terrorism. They're associated with drought, famine, poverty, and that has to change because it's not true.
That still does exist.
That exists. That exists, but that doesn't mean that is the dominant narrative. That's what we're trying to change.
Yeah.
People do go back. They don't leave the hotels. They don't leave the big cities. I think you have to explore. You have to basically see the real raw beauty of those countries, and that's something that's missing.
But this will be different because this will be documented.
Yes.
You can't fault, you can't say
and then we can show it to the world, and hopefully it will create a new image.
People will be surprised.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And that's a reaction that we want to get from them. This is my baby. Now, my camera is quite important in this trip. Without it, I can't actually collect any pictures. One thing I love about this bag is that I can put my laptop, my camera, and everything in one rucksack.
Packed up most of my equipment here. So we've got about 50 kilos here. We've got broadcast cameras, we have gimbals, we've got drones. Pretty much everything you need for some high-end, beautiful filming of some beautiful locations. We're going to be showing you some amazing places in the Horn of Africa and really giving a stark image of what exists from a more touristic standpoint. Really showing the beauty, the culture, and hopefully having some fun in the process. So, looking forward to seeing you there.
Here I am on my way to Heathrow Airport to meet Richard. At this point, I'm super excited and can't wait to see what the journey has in store for us. It's gonna be a long trip.
So Mohammed's just paid a ton of extra money for a ton of extra baggage.
Not happy at all.
One of the greatest pleasures of this journey will be getting to see my relatives again. We just arrived in Djibouti, the capital of Djibouti. So far, everything has gone smoothly, and I'm thrilled to see what this tiny little known country has to offer. When we arrived, the first thing I noticed is how absorbing the city is. The city seems to hum with a noisy and a vibrant atmosphere.
We have finally arrived in Djibouti, the capital of Djibouti. Just gonna explore the city in general. We have our driver with us, Mohammed. So let's see what the city has to offer for us.
The streets of Djibouti are always buzzing with life, despite the hot summer weather. These streets are well maintained, with the cars moving smoothly and accident almost unheard of. You notice a definite sense of change as the people work on to transform their city from the rundown outpost it was 30 years ago, as depicted in the pictures that I looked at.
Behind me, you see one of the last colonial remnants of the French colonial history in Djibouti. Before Djibouti gained its independence in 1977, it used to be colonized by the French.
The French occupation of the country introduced Christianity to the country, but Islam has remained the dominant religion of the Djiboutian people.
We just arrived in the city center of Djibouti. We came across this amazing site known as the locals as the first minaret built by the late Mohammedi in the 18th century. You can see how high it is.
The people of Djibouti sit by the road to talk, drink tea, chew qad, which is a leafy plant, and watch the day go by. The African quarter sits in the shadow of the Hamoudi Mosque and is packed with stalls selling everything from qad leaves to electronic devices.
We just entered into an artifacts shop full of artifacts made by East Africans. From Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, Djibouti, Eritrea, all across the Horn of Africa. Apparently this Somali traditional dagger, they used to actually kill the sheep and the livestock with it, as well as fend off enemies. Scary.
The streets are a buzzing bazaar of color and texture. The cultural clothing and handmade fabrics are timeless. One sight in the market, aside from the usual stalls that sell food, are the tailors with their sewing machines in the street. The prices of tailors and fabric in Djibouti are reasonable, though the quality of both varies and rapid service is not always available. Leaving Djibouti city, we traveled northwest, making our way towards the secluded beach called Sables.
We have finally arrived in the Tojar region. Behind this beautiful city is a little beach called Sables. It means white sand in English. It's surrounded by these massive cliffs. I feel like I'm the only one on this beach here.
As I explored the area, Omar, our guide, suggested that we should experience something that is unique to this place.
This should be interesting. Omar talked to me out of the camera ride. I'm gonna go and be a tourist now. Look out there. Will this thing will be able to lift me up? You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god. I don't know. It's oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, look at that. King of the camels.
The day ends with a beautiful sunset, a gorgeous reminder of how spectacular this place is. When the daylight ends, the city seems to really come alive. That same night, I was invited to a traditional Djiboutian wedding in the town.
Basically what happens is, there's a formal marriage ceremony in the morning, traditionally, or in the afternoon. After the ceremony has been completed, then there's a final big massive party in the end. Usually that happens between 10 and 11 p.m. As you can see now, it's 11 p.m. It's going to be a new experience for me because I've never been to an Afro wedding before. There's going to be some cultural dances and I can't wait to see that.
The wedding event is buzzing with beautiful women wearing colorful dresses. The male guests usually wear suits and ties. One of the guests asked me to tie a knot. I utterly failed.
These guys behind me are waiting for the groom to arrive. We can't go in unless he actually enters first.
The wedding party offers a blend of modern as well as traditional Djiboutian dances. Many of the female guests have fancy hairdos and the majority of them have beautiful henna flowers painted on their hands, arms and even their feet. Outside, the male dancers wait for the groom to arrive. Once he enters the scene, they dance to one of the many traditional Djiboutian dances, the Afar wedding dance, which praises the Prophet Muhammad and sends blessings and good wishes to the new family. The following day, after a joyous first day of experiencing the local customs of Djibouti and partying late at the traditional Djiboutian wedding, we met with our guide Omar and driver Mohammed to explore the scenic landscapes of Djibouti. Djibouti is packed full of geological oddities, and as you travel outside the city, you come across the most beguilingly beautiful, scrubby desert landscape. Here in the desert, I meet a Somali camel herder from Ethiopia, who allows me to pat his camels. He explains that he looks after the camels for a wealthy businessman and lives nearby. Whilst traveling in the desert, you often come across nomadic people in the middle of nowhere, working hard taking care of their animals and families. These nomads are extremely friendly, hospitable and honest people, and they pride themselves on those values. Our next destination is another nearby beach named Qur'anbado, which lies on the outskirts of Djibouti city, around from the city center.
It's a beautiful day. We just ate liver for breakfast. Then we decided to visit a private beach called Qur'anbado. We have finally arrived.
This is one of the most beautiful beaches in Djibouti. During low tide, one of the shipwrecks not far from shore can easily be walked to. It's rather surprising how far the tide goes out, and you can usually walk out quite far out in the shallow water.
Now I'm gonna go for a swim, do some shark hunting.
So I persuaded Mohammed to risk his life and mine for a little hunt for fish. We're going to find a shipwreck just off the coast and we'll see you soon.
Beautiful fish everywhere.
Everywhere.
What a journey! Oh my god!
Standing is the best. I like to stand up. How you feeling?
I'm tired. Extremely tired. We just returned from the beach. We had some light lunch. Now we're on our way to see the wildlife park.
Decan was set up as a rehabilitation center for various animal species that have been orphaned or had been caged for illegal trafficking operations.
We're finally arrived at the Decan refugee camp. Decan means zoo in French. Now we're just waiting for a guide to show us around. It was actually founded by a French doctor He collected all the wildlife animals and brought them here and made this temporary camp for them. We're here with a bunch of tortoise. They're munching on some lettuce.
Cheetahs are captured all over the Horn of Africa, destined for Asia and the Middle East to be purchased as pets. The wild cheetahs caught in trafficking are transferred to this place. These lions are originally from Somalia, but have found a home here in Djibouti.
We came from the lions, found them amazing, beautiful creatures. We're now in the baboon area, but we have to tread carefully because they can easily get startled.
Most of the animals here arrived when they were still babies, so they have grown used to humans, and some of them have grown quite tame.
We just finalized our tour in the Decan refugee camp. Apparently, I discovered that it's a refugee camp for wild animals. As you can see here, it says here, "Welcome to the refugee." This place became a safe haven for wild animals that were targeted by poachers. I really recommend that you visit here once you're in Djibouti.
The following day, after a good night's rest, we embark on a long journey into Djibouti's wilderness. We arrive at the Afar Triple Junction, a tectonic plate boundary dividing the Nubian, Somali and Arabian plates. The view is spectacular, a broken landscape of airy black-rocked lava plains leading up to the volcanoes.
We have finally arrived at a place that divides Africa and Arabia. I used to read this in the books, but to be actually here is quite an amazing experience. We got Omar here, our guide, who will explain to us what this is. Omar, how old is this?
This is very old area, volcanic area. It happened these things before 6,000 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but here now we are in the tectonic plate area. Then plate Arabic, plate Africa.
On the outskirts, we see a number of volcanoes, and these volcanoes, what are their names?
We have, you know, the name of the last one is the twin volcano.
This is amazing. It feels like where the earth began.
In the distant future, the Horn of Africa will be torn from the rest of the African continent, forming an enormous island, creating a new ocean starting from the Red Sea.
You can see some smoke rising from underneath. Just beautiful.
We are now leaving the Rift Valley, heading to a nearby field where we were told that we could find fully formed and fascinating lava tunnels. The landscape here is an extraordinary geological showcase, and you can sense how parched the place is, so that no animals or plants can survive. Omar leads me through hard tunnels made by the flow of molten lava and explains where jets of steam leak out from under the surface crust.
We're in one of those volcanic caves. It's quite hot in here, extremely hot. I think on that side you can feel the heat of the magma. It's quite dark in here with just a space of light. You can see some smoke coming from that area. It's quite unique to be here and actually feel the closeness of the magma emanating from these holes. Where is exactly the magma? On which ground?
So that side, you see the hole.
The hut.
Yeah.
Over the hole over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I stick my hand in there, I will get burned.
Yeah. The hot you feel from this side. From
Right. We are here at the dried up lava lake between Djibouti and Lake Assal. It's quite a massive place. Next to me is one of the holes, one of the craters of the volcano crater that goes at least 40 to 50 meters deep. It's quite scary.
Dotting the area are several alternating thermal pools and cold springs.
So now we can't pass through this because it's too hot.
Yeah.
How do I know that it's hot? How do I know?
Come on.
Yeah.
You stay around here, you feel the heat.
Oh, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot. That is hot. I'm never not gonna get in there. No way. Oh, it's quite beautiful at the same time dangerous. So there's nothing in there, nothing.
Oh. Our hot spring come from the mountains and the rocks.
Okay.
Hot one.
So that's a very hot one.
Very hot.
So can I touch that one?
You bar. It's 70 degrees.
Oh my god.
Bringing me to one of these cold springs, Omar asked me to dip my feet inside and not move. So I do, not knowing what will happen next.
Oh! Oh shit, it tickles! It tickles. It tickles. This is completely safe, yeah?
Yeah.
Just over 100 kilometers west of the capital lies one of the most spectacular natural phenomena in Africa, Lake Assal. Situated 155 meters below sea level, this crater lake is encircled by dark, dormant volcanoes. The vast depression, which represents the lowest point on the continent, is an impressive sight.
This vast plain that you see before you, all white, all salt. You might just think it's a white beach, but it's a white beach of salt.
The Afar nomads have long mined this lake for its salt. They cut off giant rectangular blocks, load their camels, and journey to Ethiopia to trade for the salt for other goods.
He said we do the business with salt.
This land, they've been traditionally living here for the past thousands of years, and this is the only source of income to survive in this hot place. But it's so amazing.
He died because it was salted. 350 grams per liter salted then.
350
Yeah.
gram?
Yeah.
This is the skull of a goat. What they put those in the water, and this is the result. Amazing. Couple hours it took just for it to become skyrocket salt.
6 days.
So if I go in there, will I become a salt man?
Yeah, if you stay more hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Shall we try that?
Yeah.
Once you go towards the lake, you can perceive how stunningly beautiful it truly is. Turquoise water inside a brilliant white salt pan, surrounded by steep, barren hills. We leave Lake Assal, and our next destination is the Dai Forest Camp. Upon arrival, the host of the camp awaits us.
Mohammed, who is our host, he will be showing us around the mountains and the forest in general. I asked Mohammed why he chose this particular type of housings to host the tourists. These are a traditional house called the Akal. The reason he told me is because this is a national park. He wants the tourists to feel the upper way of life, where these people have lived for the past couple of hundreds of years.
The camp offers a truly traditional experience for potential tourists, as they can enjoy the scenic beauty of the surrounding area whilst relaxing near the second highest point in Djibouti.
You know, as a kid, before Somalia sent into a civil war, you know, my parents used to bring me to a local village called Abudwaq, and every night we used to sleep under the stars. And I still can remember that as a kid. You know, even though I was a couple of years old, I still remember seeing the stars and just enjoying the amazing weather. And I don't know, just being here, you know, it just reminds me of my early childhood in Somalia.
And the Jeep's on fire. No, it's not, you're fine. But it's time to wake up. How are you feeling?
Oh my God. It's quite chilly last night.
Yeah, it was.
I had a good night's sleep.
Well, that's nice, I didn't.
You didn't? Oh, it was amazing, it was amazing. Out in the open.
I explored the area the following day, enjoying the spectacular views of the surrounding countryside. Looking at these views gave me time to reflect on many things. I started thinking about my family and the future that awaited me. And I considered why this region, known as the cradle of civilization, has earned such a bad reputation as a desolate area, when in reality it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. The Decan National Park provided us with a refreshing break from the Djiboutian heat. I believe it's the perfect site for hiking and trekking. Unfortunately, the park is suffering from a severe threat to the environment. Not long ago, it was a lush green forest, but it's being replaced now by increasing desert and dying trees. The good thing is the efforts are being made to save it. As we drove inland, we came across a small town within the Djibouti region. Later that day, we met with an Afar nomad and asked him if we could take a look inside his home and if he could tell us about the traditional house design of the different Djiboutian peoples.
These houses is easy for nomadic people to moving, you know.
Right.
They can keep all the stuff on the camel. They can move quickly the area they can go, and they can make quickly also for construction.
The host explains why they built this particular type of hut and the reasons behind its specific size.
Who basically deconstructs and reconstructs again this particular house? Who does that?
The woman, nomadic woman.
Why the women do that as opposed to the males? What do the males do?
The men keep camel and goat and things like this, as well the goats like this. If when the women try to building the houses, if they have a strong work like this, the men come to help them. In the same houses, inside we can use 3 different things. Here for sleeping, like a bed. And here is like a kitchen. We cook here. And here we put the glass and the plate like this, we put here. And here also we put all the material and the carpet we put here. At night, we have to make.
Okay.
At morning, we put there.
What is this?
Material.
Aha, hara tu au kahta blena. Sara. Wa ukadhan
Irisa.
Irisna.
In Afar language, we call these things kilkil. We make the clothes on the top for a small baby girl or boy like this, or baby. We put the clothes here, and inside we put the fire. In the fire we put something that smell like this, smoke. Then the clothes take some good smell, you know.
Another ethnic group, the Somalis of Djibouti, have a similar house design. The only main difference is that the roof is more square-shaped, whereas the Afar house roof is oval-shaped. The reason why the entry point is narrow is because, according to the local legends, the Somalis and the Afars refused to submit to the authority of the pharaohs, the ancient pharaohs. So what he done was he constructed these small huts and made the entry point quite narrow so that they're forced to go underneath it. So they'll be forced to bow in front of him. Traveling through the seemingly endless desert, a mirage started to appear. At the gate of the lighthouse, 2 helpers await our arrival, so that they can lead us to the highest level of the lighthouse. As I climbed to the top using the long spiral staircase of the lighthouse, I couldn't help but marvel at the level of preservation. It's a long way up and rather tiring, but you forget the long climb once you reach the top. At 50 meters tall, the Raspberry Lighthouse was built in 1889 by the French colonial government to monitor ship traffic in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
This is the 2nd biggest lighthouse in Africa. This lighthouse was built by the French government in 1920 when they used to rule this country. Towards us is Somalia. On the left is Yemen, and on the right is Jabuuti city. So this was the entry point.
Yes.
Before they actually went to Djibouti.
Yes.
So this lighthouse, who does it serve?
And you see, we are
like a border, you know. All the ship, all the boat pass in the Bab al-Mandab between Yemen and Somalia. They can see Djibouti. If they want to come to Djibouti, they see these lighthouses. When they see the lighthouses, they can come to Djibouti, they can enter.
Now we leave this historical lighthouse for our next destination, another historical site, the French Colonial Cemetery in Oppak. This memorial serves as a constant reminder of Djibouti's colonial past and how it was one of the last colonies in Africa.
We are here at the French memorial site housing the French soldiers that died here. What's so unique about this memorial site is that it contains the French soldiers' remains as well as the indigenous soldiers who died for the French government during World War I. This is a memorial imprint showing the French soldiers that died in this place between 1884 and 1896. These were young soldiers sent far away from home and perished in this place. The cemetery is near the beach and the beach looks very inviting. So we decided to have some traditional Afar lunch prepared by Omar's family. We decided to have picnic today on a Dechura pier. We're here with Mohammed and Omar, our guides. And Omar is going to explain to us what this is.
So we live behind the sea. Then we have like traditional food. Like we have a rice and the meat sauce with the fish.
That's a fish. That looks
yes,
quite tasty.
fish,
Okay.
Yeah. And some salad.
That is basically the traditional Afar lunch.
Yes.
It looks tasty. Let's dig in, folks.
Only people living in the coastal cities include fish in their daily diet. Returning to Djibouti and finalizing the last day of the trip, I decided to visit one of the fishing harbors. Strangely enough, I had never fished before, even though I grew up in The Hague, the only city in Holland that lies directly on the sea. I decided to change that by hiring a fishing boat and attempting to catch my first fish.
We found a fishing boat on the Red Sea. We're going to go all the way on the outskirts of the shore. The captain is going to teach me how to fish for the first time. It's quite small.
I'll take into the small fish.
We're going to cut it.
I cut it like this. After you get one pieces, you keep in the hook like this.
What type of fish are we going to catch?
Barracuda, jackfish, snappers, groupers, every fish you can catch.
It took many hours on the sea and I was beginning to be discouraged at the thought that I would never catch a fish, when luck came knocking on my door.
Got something. There you go. Yes. Yes. There you go. Oh, it's a beauty. It's a beauty. Oh, no. What? Apparently my mistake was I was too slow. Once you catch a fish, you have to quickly reel it in, otherwise it will escape, like it did with mine. Look at that. Look at that. Got my first fish. My first fish. It was a white sniper.
My trip to Djibouti far exceeded my expectations. When I started researching this relatively unknown country, unfamiliar to the majority of tourists and mostly undocumented, I had some hopes. But what I found amazed me. Djibouti is a little piece of heaven for nature and history lovers. I particularly enjoy the silence and picturesque nature. Visiting Djibouti offers up a perception that truly contradicts the negative image that often represents the region. People are genuinely hospitable, friendly, and willing to share a slice of their paradise with you in a generous manner. A manner that you can hardly find in the more oft-visited countries.
Our tour is finally coming to an end. We visited many places, many amazing places.
Like Assal.
Like Assal, yeah. I think that one was quite... Oh, even if I start remembering, I start getting hot again. So, I think.
Yes, I remember he passed me a bottle of water, and it was like someone passed me some liquid gold.
Oh my god!
Just started rubbing it over my face.
It's fun actually getting near to the beach as well. It gets much hotter as well. But the coolest place was the Dai Forest National Park. That was amazing. Remember
place
the mountain?
where we camped.
Yeah, where we camped.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, it was such a cool breeze. I think there was massive mountains.
I think it felt more like the free African experience than any other place that we've been to. It really,
especially the Afar experience. I mean,
Yeah.
because we had the traditional Afar huts. We slept outside. We slept also in these huts as well.
the place where we did the camping, the forest, that was something I felt right there. I think Lake Assal was stunning as well. I mean, I'd never seen anything quite like it. I mean, the salt plains that just keep going on forever and ever. I know it's just something I've never really seen in my travels.
And the people, the hospitality, it was amazing. I know Omar has been much, great help to us. He explained to us all these traditional ways, traditional routes, traditional history, and he's been amazing help thus far. Even the hospitality of the Afar people.
When we had a guide, I expected the guide to be a guide, but I didn't expect him to be as chilling and as much of a mate.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. I think that's what I'm going to miss more than anything. What I'm worried about when we go into Somalia is not being part of that group. Like we've kind of come together as a bit of a crew now. I know with the
we have to depart
Jeep
early.
4x4 crew.
So basically, any visitor, any guest that comes to your country, you have to treat them, to the most.
Yes. For example, they have a word we say, if we get a guest, even the kid, sleep without dinner.
Right, okay.
We do that.
It's funny because that's actually a Somali saying as well, where when it comes to the Somali hospitality is that the guest gets much better treatment than the actual family that they're staying with. On to the next adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's been all go. It's been non-stop, flying by the seat of the pants, but it's been a real adventure.
Oh, it's been amazing, yeah. I would definitely recommend visiting Djibouti. Anyone who ever wants to visit here, please do.
And visiting Omar.
And Omar is
have Omar take you around.
the best guide
He's
ever.
The one.
Yeah. Omar Mohammed, remember that name, the best guide ever. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. All right, and we'll see you in Somalia.
Okay.
We just headed in a tunnel where we could see both green lush trees on both sides. It has the look of an Amazon.
The first Somali I've seen with a Google shirt. I finally arrived in the Hargeisa International Book Fair of 2017.
A lot of these other stuffs, like the Nomad, and these are produced by local artists and obviously sold.
We are finally at the Lascaux rock art site. Behind us, you see the famous Lascaux. We have finally arrived, just in time. You can see it's quite dark now. We are here at the biggest livestock market in Somaliland. Well, today's going to be an amazing day. Behind me are boxes donated by a group of Somali women from London. I'm in front of my aunt's house. She invited me for a family dinner. Vegetables. Vegetables. 3 full plays of Somali traditional dances. It was amazing. These youngsters are extremely talented. I'm glad them aren't rangers. They were just phenomenal. We arrived in Halen. It's quite a remote area in Sanak region. I love it. I've never seen anything like this before. Let's smash it. So we arrived at the historical site of Manduna. What's this plant called? Oh shit, I see something. Snakes inside there. It's very healthy. first half hour of the long trek to a special place.
Oh my God. I really needed that. I really needed that.
So I truly believe that it's going to be a main tourist attraction. It should be, because this should not be hidden from the rest of the world. One second, yeah? Let's put this on.
Oh shit.
Dr. Fish. I'm stunned. Okay. Don't forget me!
Yeah, a little bit tired, but...
A little bit tired?
Yeah.
Oh my days. You good? Oh my God, I think I've got one of the big massive fish. Okay, yeah?
Okay, I think so. Let's just have a look.
Yeah, you can look from there. Yeah?
All right, cool.